Okay, the first thing that I want to go over is how to open up IronCAD. So click the Start button down in the lower left-hand corner, and then scroll down until you see the IronCAD folder, and click the little arrow. So you see that we have about 12 or so shortcuts. We are looking for the one that says IronCAD 2018 X64. Clicking on that will open it up. So go ahead and click on it, and that will open up. When you get to this screen, click on the 3D scene and then select metric from the different tabs. We want the metric tab, and then we're going to click on blue for our selected template, and we're going to click on OK. Now, when IronCAD opens up here, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to drag in a block. So left click on a block from your catalog browser and drag it to the middle of your screen. If you don't have your catalog browser, someone may have closed out of it. And to get the catalog browser back, go to the Common tab. And over here, you can see the catalog browser. Hit the drop down, click on catalog browser. This is your catalog browser where we get our parts from. Over here on the left is our scene browser. This is where we can look at properties. We can see our part here. When I click on this part, it selects the different part on our screen. So it's important to have your scene browser. Scene browser can be toggled on and off here as well. We'll leave it turned on. And when you first get into your program, it's a real easy method to zoom in by clicking on the Fit Scene magnifying glass from the status bar. So if you left click on that, you'll see it zooms in on the shape that we're working on. Now, left clicking on this shape will change the color. So I left click until we get to the scene where you can see these red push pins. We want to left click on one of the red push pins. No, actually, we want to right click on one of the red push pins, and we want to select Edit Size Box. This will allow us to change the length, width, and height of our cube. So to begin with, we want to make the length a total of 38. We want to make the width a total of 200, and we want to make the height a total of 1. And we click OK. Now, let's go down here and let's click on top. And let's click on Fit Scene. Whenever I say click, unless I instruct otherwise, just assume it's a left click. So the next step is we're going to go to our feature menu. And on our feature menu, we're going to select the Extrude Wizard. Notice there's a drop down. Make sure you select Extrude Wizard and not Extrude. Once you click on Extrude Wizard, come over to your part, hover over it, and you'll see you get a green dot when you're hovering over it. Click on that green dot. That will ensure our grid starts in the middle. Select the Remove Material option and click on Finish. Now we're ready to start working on shaping our airplane wing. The first thing that we're going to do is draw a couple lines for points of reference. If we look back at our airplane wing, you can see that we have a small curve on each edge, and it is 34 millimeters from the flat surface to the edge of our wing. And that curve goes down 7 millimeters on the side. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a line that is 34 millimeters and 7 millimeters. So I will zoom in, and to zoom in, a real easy trick is take the scroll button of your mouse and pull it towards you, hovering over the point of the scene that you want to zoom in on. Wherever your mouse pointer is positioned, that's where your screen is going to zoom in. So we're going to make a line that is 7. I'm going to make that line by right clicking, and this is important. We're going to right click and not let go. Do not let go of your click. Drag over, making sure that your line is right parallel to this edge. See, we do not want it hanging off. It must be parallel. And then just let go of the line. Don't worry about how long it is. Length doesn't matter at this point. As long as it's parallel, let go of your right click. When you let go of your right click, it will pop up a box that you can enter the length in. In our case, we wanted to enter in 7. Let's say you accidentally put in 10, clicked OK. Now you want to change that line. Or maybe your line, maybe you made a line that wasn't what it was supposed to be. Hit Control Z, and it will undo what you just did. So I'm doing that for the sake of those that accidentally make an incorrect line. Let's go do our 2-point line again. And this time we're right clicking, we're dragging over nice and parallel, we let go, and we enter 7 and enter. Now we have a 7 millimeter line. And if we click on our selection tool, click on the line, you can see over here in our properties window of our scene browser, it is indeed 7 millimeters in length. Now the next line that we want to make is the line that extends down this way. And we said for that line, we were going to go a distance of 34. So we're going to do our 2-point line. Again, we are right clicking and we are dragging straight down, making sure that it is parallel. And we let go and we enter in a distance of 34 and OK. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to use this by 3 points to create an arc. So I click on by 3 points. And now I am left clicking on this dot. Very important that you left click right on the dot. Then I'm going to left click on this dot. Now we can just hover our mouse. I'm not clicking. I'm just moving my mouse to manipulate this arc. And I want you to move it so that it just is barely an arc. If you go too much like this, where you have an overlap down here and you can see blue, you're going to have errors later on when we try to extrude. So just manipulate it so it's barely an arc, and then click and make sure, as I zoom in here, just make sure that the arc line does not overlap this line. If those two lines overlap and you have blue space in there, when we go to extrude, you're going to run into some issues. Now I'm going to do a fit scene, and I'm going to make a line directly in the center of my wing. Okay, perfectly in the center. Now, if you did not click on the green dot in the middle when we extruded, you could run into some errors here. We know that the length from here to here is exactly 200. So let's just draw another line for those that may be off center with their grid. I'm going to right click, I'm going to drag down, and I'm going to let go. And of course, we want the length to be 100. We click OK. Now we know that the endpoint is right centered on our wing. I'm going to click on that point and just drag. And we can drag all the way over. The length of this line doesn't matter. We're going to delete it anyways. Now we're going to click on the mirror command. And the mirror command is going to allow us to click. Let me zoom in here so you can see what I'm clicking on. I'm clicking on this line. I am left clicking this line, and I'm left clicking this line. So I've left clicked on 3 different lines. Now I'm going to zoom back out so I can see my center line. We're going to now go to choose mirror axis. Click on choose mirror axis, and this line that we put in is the center line that we want to mirror around. So that's our mirror axis. We click on it. And now if we do a fit scene, you'll see that it shows in light blue dashes where it's going to mirror this shape or these lines. So we're going to click on the check mark over here that says OK to finish that command, and it has mirrored our lines to the opposite edge of the wing. Now we're going to use the trim command, and we're going to delete this line and this line by simply clicking on them with a trim command selected. And now we should be ready to extrude. And that means we're going to click on the finish button. Before I do that, let me show you a common error. One common error that I see people making is they had the 2-point line selected, and they may have, for example, maybe you didn't trim out this line right here. So I'm going to leave that in, pretend that you didn't trim it out. I'm also going to just click right here and make a dot. And now I'm going to click on finish, and it's going to give me an error because these are 2 common errors that occur. So I'm going to click on finish. And notice we get this message that says cross-section is empty or contain outlines that overlap or are not closed. What we're going to do is we're going to click on edit cross-section. Do not click on cancel edit. If you click on cancel edit, everything you just did will disappear and you cannot get it back. So you'll lose all your work. So make sure you do not click on cancel edit. Make sure you only click on edit cross section. So we're going to click on edit cross section. And now I'm going to click back on my screen, and it's going to allow us to come in here and make some changes. So a couple of things that we need to do is we need to correct the issues. See this point here and this point here? These are lines, and I'm going to drag it off a little bit so you can see how that line is pink. A pink line after you have had an error indicates that, hey, this is likely where your error is coming from. So let's delete that line. We could choose trim and then click on the line, but with the selection tool, if the line is selected, you can just press the delete key on your keyboard and it will delete it. So I'm clicking on my line, it's selected. I press the delete key on my keyboard, there it's gone. Now I also had made a little dot in here. I'm not even seeing it now, but let's see if our wing is going to extrude now. So I click on finish, and sure enough, there it went. Okay, so we click on the blue area here, and now you can see our wing is completed. Our wing is done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a menu, we're going to do a file, and we're going to do a save as. And the next thing you want to do is you want to browse to your documents folder, find your name, and then click on documents and click on open documents, and we're going to save this